This is the new Walmart exclusive WWE Elite Wyatt 6 3-pack of Uncle Howdy, Nikki Cross, and Erick Rowan. Now, it seems like this box set has been known about for a very long time, man. We've been waiting on this one. It was speculated on, we got to see it, and now it is finally in our hands after a very long wait. But this could be one of the best box sets, man. I think at the end of the year, we need to rank the box sets because we've gotten so many lately. I think it's just appropriate. Maybe one day we can rank them all, but you can see Uncle Howdy up front here. We do have him in Ultimate Edition. I don't know how I feel about this Erick Rowan. I'm kind of on the fence. I'm excited to see how he feels in hand. And then we have a really damn good Nikki Cross over here that has a lot of details in it that you may not expect out of a wrestling figure line. So Wyatt 6 logo over here, Wyatt 6 here, which is a very cool logo. Dude, this packaging is just incredible. I low-key kind of want to get another one to keep it in the box, but little Wyatt 6 logo there. Here on this side, you get a nice shot of all three. Elite logo down here. And then on the back, we do have, they're here, and there's a little bio read. If you guys want to read that, you can pause it now. But there is a shot of them there. I'm going to try to recreate this shot at the end of the video, so stay tuned for that. But you can see the full Wyatt 6 there. I'm really excited, man. It would be cool to get a tongue-out head sculpt. But nonetheless, man, this is Walmart exclusive. It is hitting now. If you guys are excited about that, want to find this set, you can do so by going to your Walmarts. They're doing a really cool thing where they're putting a lot of figures on clearance if they were in that collection space in the middle aisle. So I don't know. That may be something to take a note of. Regardless, man, we're going to open up this Wyatt 6 box set and find out what it's about. So let's shut the hell up and do so and see what Uncle Howdy, Nikki Cross, and Erick Rowan are all about. Here we have our Wyatt 6 out of the packaging. I just threw in the other two members just for shishes and gigs. We got Joe Gacy, we got Dexter Loomis in there just for the vibes, right? We got to get it in there just to see what it feels like. But we're going to get into the accessories. There's some interesting things here that maybe I was wrong on. I don't know. We're going to get into it, break it all down. But what we're going to do first is get into all the accessories you get in this pack as a whole, and then we will break down each figure individually, show it off, get into it, show off the details, see how articulated they are, and of course wrap it up with some cool photography at the end. But let's shut the hell up and get into the accessories that come in the Wyatt 6 box set. So here's the accessories, man. You're probably like, oh, what the hell? Yeah, there's not a lot of accessories here, man. There is not a lot of accessories here, and I did not really realize that there's no lantern, there's no interchangeable hands with this set, so maybe that gives you some extra perks to pick up the Ultimate Edition Uncle Howdy. I don't know how that's going to go, but you do get this help hammer here that is nice, comes with Rowan, which is sweet. I think this looks good. I think this is reuse from the Bludgeon Brothers Elite 66 Elites, if I'm not mistaken. I can't remember off the top of the dome, but I do dig this. I think this looks really good. It's painted well. I don't know if it's completely accurate. I want to say it's the exact same hammer, and Erick Rowan may have customized, or whoever in the department at WWE may have customized the original hammer. I do not know, but I do like this. It looks good. You got help on there. I do like this. It's hefty. It's got a little weight to it. So yeah, you get the hammer. You also get the bunny mask with all of this fur off the top, which is so damn good, man. Everything in this set has a real grungy feel to it. It looks nice. It's got a lot of paint detail. You can see the teeth coming through with the pink. Got all this fur going on. It slides over the top of the head, and you can put this on many characters. Of course, Erick Rowan is the one that wears it, but I think this is sick, man. I don't know. There's a lot of dry brushing, a lot of grunge to the pack and set, which you'll see throughout the review, which I think just adds so much layers to it. This is really sweet, so I dig that. Very, very cool. The stitching and everything is nice, and it's coming up on a year since we saw the prototypes of this pack, I'm pretty sure, back at WrestleMania. So if we see any prototypes at WrestleMania this year, you can pretty much say that about 10 months from then is when we'll get the figures. You also get the entrance vest for Erick Rowan, and again, you get a lot of faux fur here coming down, or the white fur going on. No logos or anything. It's got this nice brown wash over black that creates a nice contrast of detail. I dig that. The buttons are painted well. A lot to like about this entrance vest, man. They just did such a good job packing so much in, and I remember seeing them on display and being like, man, those really stand out. I think that the accessories do the same thing. Now, say what you will about the lack of interchangeable hands, but at least you do get some things that matter with this set. Now, I know no lantern here, which is going to be a big turnoff for a lot of people, I think. You do get the Uncle Howdy hat, which I think is a complete resculpt of the same one we saw in the Ultimate Edition 28 Uncle Howdy, I'm pretty sure. I do have it right here so we can compare. It does look to be the exact same hat, so it's just something to monitor. Maybe a lighter brown color or something like that going on, but besides that, it's the exact same hat. But no lantern, no interchangeable hands. That's so shocking to me. That's crazy. All right, man, we're starting out with Uncle Howdy, and I want to start off with this figure. I did take the vest off, and you may be wondering, why didn't you include the vest in the accessories? Because technically, this figure is not supposed to take this jacket off, and I'll explain that, but I want to show the figure without it, and then when we get into comparison and articulation, articulation, I will showcase it with it on there. I just want you to be able to see all these sculpts and stuff, so that's the reason why we're doing this. But you get that Uncle Howdy mask, very creepy, of course. Like the eyebrows in there. You got the, you know, of course, the blue eyes. That looks good. The hair looks good. I think, again, similar to the Ultimate, I think it would benefit from a black wash. I don't know. I'm experimenting with that. I may see what I can do there. I like the beard coming out. I think this is a repeat head sculpt from the Ultimate Edition, and the mask is slightly different, which we'll show in the comparisons. But going down into the torso, this is a brand new Elite torso here, and it's very dark, so I'm doing my best here. I just don't want it to blow out the exposure. You can see the buttons coming down the front. You get that ab crunch right there, which is interesting. I don't think this is a reused torso. I think this is brand new. You can correct me if wrong, but you can see the arms are meant for a jacket, kind of like the Ultimate Edition, but there's no bare arms. This figure is supposed to get, and we may get it later on, but the jacket is supposed to remain on this figure, similar to some Jakks figures from back in the day, right? So you get these thick jacket arms. I tried to pop them out like an Ultimate, but they don't come out, so that's just something to talk about. They don't pop out, I don't think. You do get the Bray hand on the right side and then the blank hand on the left there, and then going down into the crotch, you get these kind of Darby Allin looking legs, which is interesting. You know, you get kind of the shorts or the, you know, this kind of panel up top, but on the Ultimate, it was this plaid look that I really liked, and then here it's just plain black, and it's just black pants, and it goes down into black boots, man. So nothing too, you know, earth-shattering with this Uncle Howdy figure, but I do like this thing in some ways. But let's take a look at the figure from far away, and then I'm going to put the vest on it, and then I'm going to show you the articulation. So here's the figure without the jacket on, and then I will add the jacket. It's pretty easy to add the jacket, and I'm pretty sure, again, this is the same sculpt as the Ultimate. I'm going to pop the head off because I think it makes it a little easier here. You can see the neck's painted black and everything. So here's the figure far away, and I guess, you know what, just for shishes and gigs, let's just add the hat so you can see it. But I don't know, I'm not sure if you're going to get a whole ton of range of motion out of this guy with this entrance vest on here, but getting rid of the hat, he can look down a little bit, which is actually kind of shocking to me. Can't really look up because of the long AF hair here. You get a tad pivoting, not really that much, but the vest definitely gets in the way of the articulation. It's kind of annoying to me, but can't really go back that far with the vest on there. You can come forward a little bit there, not the greatest. He is on ball joints though, so he can kick forward pretty good. It doesn't snap back and forth, which is excellent. Very buttery smooth on the double jointed knee as well. You get upper thigh cut, you get boot swivel, ankles go up and down, and then you get a wonderful ankle pivot. And then on the shoulders, it does go above 90. You get the full rotation, you get the bicep cut, and you get pinless double jointed arms. So not the best posable. It will pose decently if you take that vest off, but I just wanted to showcase it with the vest on there because I think people are going to leave the vest on there for the most part. Unless you customize this thing, you're not going to not have it on there. But let's put the hat back on here and let's get into some figure comparisons with this guy, and then we're going to give him the lantern and stuff like that. Actually, you know what, let's show him with the lantern first. So this is the lantern that comes with the Ultimate Edition Uncle Howdy. I can't believe this wasn't included in the set actually, but there it is with that. So now one of your Uncle Howdy, you might as well give this is what I'm saying. You might as well give the bare arms to the Ultimate and then give the lantern to this guy, since this guy doesn't really have an option to not have the jacket. But let's give me that damn lantern. Let's get into some figure comparisons here. So for our first comparison, we do have the Ultimate Edition Series 28 Uncle Howdy over here, which I think is superior to the Elite. I think it has better likeness. You know, you get that customization aspect. You get the little plaid pattern on the legs there, and the Ultimate is a little bit bigger. You guys know how the scale is with the Ultimates, and you know, compared to the Elites, which I really wish they would get under wraps. I would prefer everything be universal. I don't like that there's a difference there, but there is one comparison. And then for another comparison, we do have my kind of custom Ultimate Edition promo gear Bray Wyatt that I've been using in the Fed over the years. Pretty cool figure there compared to, you know, the Uncle Howdy Elite from this box set. And then we do have the Elite 112 Bray Wyatt on the right-hand side, which I also like, which is pretty much like an Elite, 54 Bray Wyatt repaint or something like that, but these do look good amongst each other. And then for another Elite figure comparison, here is the Fiend Elite. It's one of the mini Elites. I don't know if that's I think that's the top picks Fiend Elite. And then we have the burnt Fiend Elite from Elite Series 92. You know, if you kind of want to put together some sort of Wyatt family or Wyatt 6, just an entire family tree display, you know, you have them all up there. And then we have another figure comparison here is every Ultimate Edition Bray Wyatt or Fiend up next to this new Elite Uncle Howdy from this box set, which is pretty cool. You have the first edition, the second edition, and then the most recent Ultimate Edition Series 24 from the Blacklight match, which I'm pretty sure Uncle Howdy cost him that match if I'm not mistaken. And then we have the full Wyatt 6 here. If you don't include Bray Wyatt, you know what, I'll put him on screen here in just a moment, but you have the 3 on the left, which are from this box set, Uncle Howdy, Nikki Cross, and Erick Rowan, and then you complete it with our Elites of Dexter Lumis and Joe Gacy, which is a sick visual, man. It took a long time to get to this moment, but we finally have them up next to each other, and I think they all scaled fairly well for the most part. I don't think you're going to hate this scale or hate these figures. You know, I think they look really, really good next to each other, which is all you can really ask for, you know? Say what you will about their booking or their appearances on television or the fumbling of the bags and whatnot, but I still really enjoy the way these look visually, and I think Mattel did a good job here. And there you go. I put the little Bray Wyatt in there, my little Ultimate fix-up there, which is pretty cool. So, dude, these look really sick. I bet you could make an epic display of the entire Wyatt family 6 and the entire thing if you wanted to. Now we're getting into Erick Rowan, man, and Erick Rowan is probably the most controversial one in this set, and we're going to break that down. And honestly, Erick Rowan has the craziest history of Mattel figures. It's kind of bonkers, and yeah, we'll get into it a little bit here, but I like this head sculpt. This is reused from the Elite 66 Bludgeon Brothers. He's looking to the left. I like the sculpt. I like the beard. I like a lot of what I'm seeing here out of this Erick Rowan head sculpt. I think it looks like the character. Actually met him at an airport one time. He was kind of keeping it low-key, and he kind of talked to me for a brief second. I could tell he didn't want to be bothered. I don't know, man. I'm weird about, like, I don't know. I hate to bother people, so. But I was like, holy shit, that's Erick Rowan. You know, and he's a giant, so. But this looks good. This is the most interesting part of this entire figure. They used a Braun Strowman crotch, torso, and arms for this guy, which is just insane. But having it in hand, it's not as bad as I once originally thought. Now, is he a bit too big or, girthy, if you will? Probably so, but we do have these, the full sleeve tattoos, which is nice. I like that they gave him mic holding hands too, so you can hold the hammer. They didn't drop the ball there, so, no interchangeable hands, but you at least get the hands to hold the hammer and stuff like that, which I like. Got the full sleeve tattoos in there, which is pretty cool. I did damage mine a little bit, so you want to be careful there pulling it out of the packaging. You can see right there. That's my fault. That's not on Mattel or the factories. That's all me, Brad. But one thing that's awesome about this set is look at the dry brushing and details in these pants. You can see the brown over the black just creates this really, again, grungy look that is kind of a theme of this set, which makes a lot of sense when you're talking about the Wyatt 6. But you can see these panels and these rips and these stitchings all throughout. They did not lack the paint on the back either. They continued it throughout. It's pinless. It's got these uniquely sculpted pants, which I think is pretty incredible. And then he does have the shoes down there. I do believe this is new sculpt. None of this is reuse on the legs. So they sculpted brand new legs for this Erick Rowan. But as far as our articulation goes, he can't really look down because of the beard. He can look up a little bit there. So you do get that. That's actually not bad right there for looking up. It is Braun Strowman, so ab crunch is very limited. Also, forward and back is pretty limited on all WWE figures. I'll keep saying it forever until they change it. We need better ab articulation across the board for all WWE and wrestling action figures. You do get the shoulders that go right above 90 or just about full rotation. You do get double jointed pinless arms with the bicep cut. Swivel and hinge in the wrist, which is great. Solid waist there. And then on the legs, he is on ball joint, so you can kick forward pretty good right there. Kind of limited. You don't need him to do 450 splashes and stuff. It can go out that far. No snap back and forth, which is really what we love to see. You do get upper thigh cut. You get a not the toughest or tightest double jointed knee of all time, so that's good. It's not, the smoothest, but I've definitely seen worse. And then you do have great ankle pivot here, and then the feet go up and down. So, no shin cut or boot cut, but you at least get some foot rotation there and some swivel. But I don't know, man. Let's put him up next to real Erick Rowan. I don't know. Let me look it up. I just think at the end of the day, it's just a little large. I think they just gave him way too much size. Not height, but just the torso is so damn big, man. I think that could have been better. But I will say the figure looks way better in person than it did in the promo shots. I felt the promo shots did not do him any justice. But I don't hate this. I just think he's a bit girthy, man. He's a bit girthy. I think the Kane torso probably would have saved this guy a lot of headaches. But for Erick Rowan figure comparisons, here's my Wyatt Colt Kane fix-up. I just took one of those Elite 32 Daniel Bryan Wyatt family jumpsuits and, put it onto a Kane Elite and kind of makeshift this, Erick Rowan to put in the Fed. And it's kind of been the long-standing Wyatt Colt figure for my Fed here. So I like this in comparison. And I don't know what we're going to do. Maybe we can make a custom version because the updated tattoos are nice. And I like the detail, the amount of detail in this figure. I just don't know about that torso. It's just so damn big. Which I think the next one is going to prove a great point. So one of my favorite fix-ups I've ever done is this Luke Harper Brody Lee fix-up, which I really like. And it's taking the Elite 35 Luke Harper, and we put we removed the rubber vest, and then we put a custom black, tank top on there with the Elite 66 head sculpt. Absolute money. I've seen people make Ultimates as well that look great, but I do like the way these look. I think this is our definitive, until I make an updated, possibly Ultimate version, or fix him up in some way, because I want him to have, this figure poses hella nice, but I would like to see it with butterfly joints, double jointed arms, different things. Beautiful head sculpt, perfect head sculpt. I like the chest hair coming through, the shirt. Maybe I can wash it because it is staining the figure underneath. But, you know, you get that handkerchief or that bandana in the back. Just a damn good figure. So I like to see these up next to each other too. And my God, Erick Rowan towering up. I don't think was Erick Rowan that much taller than him? I don't think so. And then here we have the new Erick Rowan up next to my Fix Up Bray Wyatt and Fix Up Luke Harper figures. And rest in peace to both legends, man. These look really good up next to each other, and I dig this, man. This is a sweet visual to see. And then if we want to add Aleister Black in here, you kind of get that Wyatt Colt look from the Fed, which I think is also pretty sweet. Dude, that Erick Rowan figure is gigantic. Again, isn't he 6'8" or something? Harper was 6'5", so maybe it's accurate. Yeah, Rowan was 6'8". Rowan's 6'8", Harper was 6'5", 6'6", so maybe, I don't know. Let me know what you think. So now we have Nikki Cross, man, and this figure is pretty damn cool. I like a lot of the things going on here. It reminds me of, is it Little Sister from the BioShock games? Is that what it's called? And look at the likeness on this head sculpt underneath the mask. That looks like Nikki Cross, man. You have that sick, gnarly mask in there with the hair draped down, which I think is good. Definitely my favorite Nikki Cross figure, man. I thought her other figures weren't bad, but this one is definitely her best, and I love the attention to detail. I think the skin tone's nice. You got this nice dress here that's all dirtied up and cool. I don't think this stuff comes off. You probably could get these sleeve cuffs off if you wanted to, but she doesn't have interchangeable hands, so that's something to monitor, but you do have the double jointed arms in there. Again, look at the grunginess on the dress, man. Look at that, dude. That is insane how they have dry brushed over this to give it that, you know, torn and tattered sort of look that I think just looks really, really good, man. Now, this figure is not going to pose the best for obvious reasons. You have this giant rubber overthrow on the bottom, but at least it's detailed. I think that's good, and, you know, you do have pin legs there, but there's so much detail here that I don't think you're really going to care that much, man. Look at the amount of detail, and this looks a bit weird because this boot plug-in right here, there's a little gap right there, not the biggest deal of all time, and, you know, you're not really looking at that, but it's certain, you know, it's certainly worth mentioning. I don't know if that's Dakota Kai or Candice LeRae boots or legs, but this Nikki Cross figure is sharp, man. It's pretty sharp. Doesn't really move its head down. It can move up a little bit there. Ab crunch, you know, what are you going to do, man? It can bend there. You do get some diaphragm back and forth, though. The shoulders do go above 90. You get full rotation here. Bicep cut, double jointed, pinless arm, which is sweet. You don't really get a hinge. I guess you do get a hinge. You get hinge and swivel in the wrist. It just takes a little minute to get there. You can rotate this whole upper half, which is cool. And then, I mean, I don't know. I low-key, you could probably cut this off and get better, I mean, you could get better range of motion. I just don't know what you'd replace with it. I may look around online, see if you can find something to replace this with that would actually look good. Maybe if you got some tooling or, you know, that sort of ballerina style stuff that we're going to get that we've seen from Mattel in the past. That would have been really cool if they put that over that to give you that same look, but the kick forward is pretty limited for obvious reasons. It can go out that far as well. You do get thigh cut, you get double jointed knee, which is nice. You get this shin cut here, and then the boots go up and down, and then you get the nice ankle pivot. The figure feels really good in the hand, which I do like, so that's something that I do like. I love that the figure feels good in hand. I just, man, and I gotta see if I can find my damn Elite 66 Nikki Cross. I don't even know if I can find it. Hold up just a second for comparison. So here we have our Elite Nikki Cross comparison. I think this is the Elite 66 Nikki Cross, which, funny enough, included both Bludgeon Brothers, so I think that's a unique, fun thing there. But you can see the height comparison between these is crazy. They actually got a more accurate height for her. That looks pretty sick, man. Not bad, not bad. You could probably put this head sculpt over there if you wanted. It's not interchangeable, unfortunately, but yeah, man, the women's figures come so long, man. Look, a fist and a slap hand, single-jointed pinned arms, single-jointed pinned knees, and virtually no damn articulation, man. And I mean, I know this one's limited for obvious reasons with the, you know, the dress, but man, this is a crazy comparison. And then I do want to put one more little comparison in here just for shishes and gigs. I do have the Ultimate Edition Alexa Bliss in here if you guys wanted to see that. Maybe get a family portrait going. This is one of the most underrated Ultimates that's ever been released, man. The Ultimate Edition Alexa Bliss is so damn good. I know it's trying to fall over here and embarrass me, but that figure's damn good. Lots of great things from this Alexa Bliss. It was kind of a 2-in-1 figure, kind of a 3-in-1 figure, so that was really nice there. But I think we are getting an updated Alexa Bliss Elite soon, but that does it for your Nikki Cross figure comparisons. Alright, man, that about wraps up our Wyatt 6 box set review, Walmart exclusive 3-pack, man. I had a lot of fun with this set. I think that it's pretty damn sweet. It's about time, man. That's about what I'll say. It's about time we finally got all of these characters. It feels like the figure releases are kind of similar to the characters on TV. It just feels like it's, you know, it's just been forever and haven't really, you know, gotten a whole lot, and we finally have them here, and, you know, let's just get into it. I think the Uncle Howdy, I think the Ultimate is better. You know, you're kind of limited. No lantern, no interchangeable hands. It is, you know, the whole basis of the figure is supposed to be with the jacket on, so I think that kind of hinders the articulation here. You're not getting a whole lot of posability out of these three figures in general, but the details are there for the most part. I do like the figure. You know, it's not going to be a top 25 Elite, I don't think. You know, I think that the figure's okay, but lack of lantern does suck, I'm not going to lie. You also have the Erick Rowan figure. I don't know, man. The jury's still out on that torso. I think it's an odd choice. I think that, you know, it's innovative. They took a risk. You know, I think that they took a risk, and I don't know if they landed it. You know, I think that there was a little bit of turbulence right there, and I don't know if they quite landed that cleanly. I do like the mask. I like the hammer. I like the vest. I just don't know if that torso really fits Erick Rowan, even though I do like the dry brushing, the details, the tattoos. The details here are crazy in terms of the paint detail and things like that. And then you have the Nikki Cross, which I love the head sculpt. I think all three head sculpts are pretty solid, even if two of them are reuse. Like the mask. The dress is very cool. I like the build of the figure. I wish that it had a little bit more articulation, but I do understand with the dress. It's just, for $75, it's a lot. It's a lot, but these are characters we've been waiting on. I don't know if we're going to see these characters again, too, so this may be the only way you can get all of the Wyatt 6 together like this. Nikki Cross, Erick Rowan, of course, Dexter Lumis and Joe Casey were single card releases, and then the rest of them, besides the Ultimate Uncle Howdy, were in this box set. So your hands are kind of tied here because I don't think they're going to do... I would be shocked if they did any more. If they did a basic of them, if they did elites of them, I would be shocked. I guess it's not completely out of the realm of possibility, but I don't know. I don't know. And there's nothing on the rumor mill that says, hey, we're getting Erick Rowan here or getting Nikki Cross here. So just take that with a grain of salt, man. So regardless of the fact, man, that is it for the Wyatt 6 box set. Let me know what you guys think. I had a lot of fun with these. They were fun to shoot because, you know, you get kind of tricky with the cameras and stuff like that. And if you guys are wondering how I perform those little things, so if I cut off all these lights right here, I'm going to cut off these lights so you guys can see. Now, the background's still going to be lit up, but I have these little balls that I got on Amazon, and you can, you take this little tab out. You can take this little tab out, and it lights up, and then you can, what I do is I tape it to the back of the lantern, and it creates this optical illusion, so I think that's pretty cool, but I don't know, I wanted to showcase that a little bit if you guys were wondering, but before we get out of here, let's get into our random shout-out. I'll just leave this right here, it kind of looks creepy. Look, I got a second one, I'll just put this one right here. Damn, that's pretty sweet. Anyway, and our shout-out today is going to go to Uncle J-Man or Wyatt, and this comes off the heels of our Rhea Ripley figure that I thought looked atrocious, man. I made a custom Rhea Ripley yesterday, and he commented, says, the repainted head isn't too bad in my opinion, better than anything I could have done, and I appreciated that, man. I appreciate you saying that. I got a lot of comments like that, and I do appreciate that. I didn't like it, man. I was pretty devastated by it. And then I want to give another shout-out to this guy, Ty Ambrose, who says, throw that head sculpt the hell out in the yard. That made me pop pretty good right there. As you know, we usually say that on the channel, so I thought that was awesome. So a huge shout out to Ty Ambrose as well. But if you guys want to be in the random shout out, comment on the channel, be active, like the videos, and maybe you could earn a shout out in our next video or possibly a future video. But I appreciate you guys so very much, man. That's pretty much going to wrap it up for me. Let me know your thoughts on the Wyatt 6 box set down below. But I'm getting out. I'll see you guys next time. Have a blessed one, and I'll catch you guys later.